Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/best of for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Cross-posted from r/AmITheDevil relationships. Am I the asshole for getting mad at the girl I like because she wouldn't send me what I asked for? Put your guesses in the comments as to what he's asking for that he's so mad about. Reposting this because the original got taken down for some reason. I added some clarifications here. Disclaimer to Reddit, I am not a bot, this is just a new account since I've never actually posted on Reddit until this. I've liked my friend for 6 years now, and recently I thought she liked me back too. We never dated, but things are headed that way. I think. I started getting frustrated because she refused to send me pictures of herself. Sometimes I slid that they could be revealing. When I asked, wasn't very emotionally open with me, and she always seemed to prioritize other people, like her family or her best friend, who openly expresses dislike for me, which I don't understand. Her grandmother was having bad health and memory problems when we were talking, but I still felt like that wasn't an excuse to make no effort in our relationship. So the same day where she told me that, I told her she needed to get her act together. Hey girl, I'm not even dating yet. I know you're dealing with your grandma who's having memory issues, but that's not an excuse not to send me revealing photos. Oh my god. Okay, where were we? Her grandmother was having bad health and memory problems when we were talking, but I still felt like that wasn't an excuse to make no effort in our relationship. So the same day where she told me that, I told her she needed to get her act together. I also told her that she lets her parents control her way too much, and that as someone who is basically an adult, she should make more of her own decisions and make time for me. She doesn't need to spend every day with her family. We kinda stopped talking cause I'm still mad at her. She told me that I was talking to her as if we were already in a relationship when we never actually were, and that I was being hurtful and lacking compassion for her current situation. I just don't want her to find someone better than me and leave. But everyone says she's out of my league, so maybe I'm kidding myself. Looking back, I can see why she was upset with me, but I also felt ignored and unimportant. Am I the asshole? Clarifications. We grew up together and are very close friends. We're both incoming freshmen at different colleges. I actually told her we could try long distance. She said that'd be too hard for her, and she wants to focus on herself. The next day, I said sorry, but we haven't talked. Never did I think I would see the day that someone with their full chest would ever, in any circumstance, pretty much have the opinion of, your dying grandmother, your family, and your friends are never too important for you to send me nudes. How dare you not take our relationship seriously? Don't you know that I like you? Like, even if these two were actually in a functioning relationship, this would be unacceptable because, I mean, what the hell is this? I can't even begin to process or describe beyond just laughter how inappropriate and just goober behavior this is. She is doing everything she can to try to maintain what was the remnants of the childhood relationship and be as polite as possible. But like, this dude is just, I don't want her to find someone better than me. How dare you be worried about your sick grandma and not me? I was very much hoping to find some comments from this person, but unfortunately it seems they have scurried away back to whatever hole they crawled out of. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for playing a game while my pregnant wife was scared? My wife was pregnant for the first time. We were both early 30s. Getting pregnant was difficult for us, and it exacerbated a problem we had observed before me putting my feelings aside to give her what she wants. Not the pregnancy, we both very firmly wanted that. In an attempt to reconcile that, we agreed I needed something extracurricular. You're 30, it's not extracurricular because the definition of extracurricular is that it's outside of your curriculum. I'm just being pedantic because it's devil, and because this guy deserves it. I need some fucking friends, or at least friendly acquaintances outside my house. So I joined a volleyball league. I'm pretty good and I really enjoy it, and I found an opening in a really strong rec league with a group of complete strangers. I'm a setter, arguably the worst position to have a non-position player in. It's like you can move your fielders around in baseball a bit, but you put one on the mound, and we're not being serious anymore. It's a lot like that to throw a non-setter into a high-level offense. It just drags the whole level of play down for both teams. The week leading up to our first game, my wife had some light spotting. Our doctor said monitor, but sounds fine. We don't need to see you. The day of my first game, my wife called the hospital, not her doctor. I'm unclear, but I believe the conversation involved my wife asking questions that a nurse can't answer over the phone until they said to her, "We can't really know anymore unless you come to the ER for some tests." She calls me while I'm driving to the game, telling me they told her to go to the ER. I pull over, trying to understand, when I'm able to understand that her condition has not changed, and I get a version of her conversation with the nurse. I tell her I am very sure there is no reason to go into the ER. Her doctor is unavailable for comment at this hour, but told us the prior week, and reconfirmed to be true after this incident. I tried to convince her that the healthiest thing for her and baby would be to stay home and rest. She insisted on going to the ER. I went and played my game. I went to the ER afterwards. She had not been seen. Later, they ran some tests, gave us a shrug. "We think you and baby are fine." About 2 months later, she did miscarry. I do not believe there is anything any medical professional could have done to prevent, but I can't help but think about the stress she went through that day. If I had skipped volleyball, I might have convinced her not to go, or at least if I'm there, she's got less cortisol. Most of the time when I think about this, I'm unsure if I was mean to my wife. Occasionally, I find myself blaming myself for the miscarriage. Skipping that game would have really screwed both teams as a first impression in the league, which wouldn't be super important for a random rec league, except that this league was a lifeline for my mental health, and it did help a lot. My wife was wrong to be so worried, but she was worried. I don't know, man. Tell me what you think. I think you're a fucking... I really hope that this is rage bait. I really fucking hope that it is, because goddamn, do they just hit all the marks for it. However, some of the comments that OP ends up leaving don't sound like someone who's trying to purposely stoke the flames to see what would happen, but more like someone who's desperately trying to cover their ass and make themselves seem like they're right in this situation. In the end, though, it doesn't matter what the nurses or doctors or OBGYNs said. What matters is your wife was scared. She was afraid of losing the child. She was spotting on her pregnancy and had a lot of thoughts racing through her head and was dealing with a lot of stress. And you chose instead, "I have to go to my fucking volleyball game!" User Our Experience 9461 comments, "You're the asshole, massively, and I think you might have just admitted online to causing a miscarriage, or at the very least, not caring enough to get her checked out after the ER visit." Dude, is she still with you? Did you ever have kids? How the actual F did she manage to forgive you? OP responds, "You're making shit up. We saw her OBGYN after the ER maybe 2 to 3 days later. They said mom and baby look fine, and our doctor was surprised we had gone to the ER and expressed disappointment in the nurse who told us to go." I believe my wife misinterpreted that nurse. Our Experience 9461 responds, "Not for nothing, but how much you downplay the nurse and your wife's concerns also speaks volumes." And that's the big headline for this one. You're actively diminishing and talking down about your wife because she was concerned and nervous. She was hormonal. She needed help. She was scared. I 100% guarantee that if you had told your volleyball buddies, "Hey, I'm sorry I can't make it. I have to take my pregnant wife to the ER," they would fucking understand. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for trying to set up my son with a girl? I, 47 male, have a son, 21 male, who's a social outcast. He doesn't have any close friends and also doesn't like going out at all, usually spending most of his time at home stuck on his phone. I asked him about girls and his crushes since his teenage years, but he always told me that he's not looking for a girlfriend or that he's not interested in girls, which I find very weird considering his age. I don't believe his mentality is caused by getting rejected by girls, as he doesn't even talk with them most of the time, and despite his loner personality, he's still a pretty good-looking guy, so I'm sure he would be able to find a girl to date if he tried. I thought he'd eventually find that special girl, but he's still keeping the same mentality to this day, unfortunately. Now, I have a colleague at work whose daughter is attending the same college as my son. and they also share some classes together. And according to my colleague, his daughter has a crush on my son. But he, of course, he's his usual unapproachable self with her. So I decided to set him up with her by promising to make him attend a date with her. My colleague was excited by the idea, but when I told my son about it, he got furious for trying to matchmake her with him without his consent. I told him that he should at least give it a shot with this girl, as she seems like a very nice and attractive lady. But he just said that he doesn't have any reason to, because he knows it won't go anywhere, and he would be just wasting both of their times. Then told me to stop messing with his personal life when I clearly don't know anything about him, and ended up locking himself in his room. I understand why I may be in the wrong here, but I was only trying to help him. He has no social life at all, and I thought that by setting him up with a girl, I could help him come out of his shell, and he just shot down that attempt without any consideration. Am I the asshole? Did you ever actually ask your son what he wants, or listen to him as to what he might be interested in, or not interested in? I mean, he told you pretty plainly that he's not interested in girls. So, I don't know, maybe take a hint? Just potentially? I mean, some of the other comments tried to give you that hint. Like, as an example, commenter by My 3 Boys, My World. You're the asshole. Get a clue, lady. He's told you he's not interested in girls. And what's wrong with being a social outcast? Concerned Dad, 7137, responds, I'm a man, though. Not responding or entertaining any other parts of that comment at all. In the process of doing this, you set up your colleague's daughter for disappointment, you set up your colleague for disappointment, and your son is now upset with you because you don't listen to him. If you actually sat down and had a conversation with him, he could be gay, he could be asexual, he could be tons of things under the sun, or the rainbow, for that matter. But judging by the fact that you're very quick to respond to some comments, but completely avoid any mention of him potentially not being straight, it kind of speaks to the fact of why he may not be honest with you. He's an adult who can make his own decisions, and it'd be good to respect that. There's also, a pretty good chance he just doesn't want his dad to micromanage his entire life behind the scenes and setting him up on dates, because that's pretty embarrassing, dude. Ugh. Cross posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for tipping in the UK despite my daughter asking me not to? I, 58 male, am from Kansas. My wife and I recently flew to London to visit our daughter, 27 female, who moved there last year for her PhD. She has some time off right now, so she's been showing us around the city. Before we came, she explained that tipping isn't as expected in the UK as it is back home. I understood that, but I still like leaving something when I get good service. For years, I've carried novelty US dollar bills. They aren't legal tender, but they're made to look close enough that people usually take a second look. They have a message on them and a well-known American. I like leaving them because they're memorable, and I think people are more likely to read the message that way. It's one of those dollar bills. I also sometimes put them into the charity donation boxes if I see one. On a couple of occasions, I've noticed what looked like other US bills already in those boxes, so I didn't think anything of it. You're putting those bills in charity boxes? Are you serious? I don't know if you guys have ever encountered these, but there are those religious pamphlets that are disguised as US tenure, and they essentially will look like a dollar bill that's folded up on the ground and you pick it up, or sometimes they'll leave it as tips, or sometimes put them in tip jars, or God knows what, and you unfold it and it's literally just a religious message inside of it, disguised as US tenure. And he's passing these out, putting them in tip jars and charity boxes. Gross. My daughter caught me leaving one after a meal on the first day and immediately told me not to do that here. She said people don't appreciate it, and that I was embarrassing her. I told her I wasn't trying to insult anyone, and that I was just leaving something positive and unique and memorable. Since then, every time I leave one somewhere, whether for service or in a donation box, she gets annoyed and tells me to stop. I haven't listened because I don't really see the harm. None of the servers have complained, rolled their eyes, or handed it back to me. As far as I can tell, nobody has had an issue with it. She says that just because nobody says anything doesn't mean they're okay with it, and that I'm refusing to respect local customs after she specifically asked me not to. I think she's making a much bigger deal out of this than it needs to be. I have good intentions, and I don't see why that's such a problem, but I'm wondering if I should stop for my daughter's sake. You're not leaving a tip, you're passing out annoying as fuck novelty bills. Who the hell is gonna be happy finding fake money? And you try to justify putting fake money in the donation box because, well, other American bills are in there. Cool, currency exchange is a thing. You can't exchange a fucking fake 10-year bill that has a positive message and a famous American figure on it. Any particular reason why you might want to say who that famous American figure is? But this is the kind of reason why, like, Europe makes fun of us. It's like, dude, you're part of the problem. Because imagine you're sorting through a charity bin and you're like, oh shit, like Americans are actually donating. Then you pick up one of the bills, unfold it, and it has some bullshit message on it. Like, cool, thanks. Because that's what this charity that's trying to do good work needs. Fake money with positive messages. Yeah, because that's gonna stock the shelves of the food bank. Hopes and dreams. No wonder why your daughter's getting her PhD in London. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for expecting my friend to come to my wedding despite their financial situation? I, 25 female, will be holding my wedding banquet soon. I'm quite the introvert, so my guest list is mostly relatives, family friends, plus around 10 close friends, including my friend Anji. Anj? I'm gonna go with Anj. 24. About a year ago, Anj's parents went through a terrible divorce, leaving Anj struggling financially since their father was the breadwinner and refused to help. Anj used to be well off, multiple luxury bags, Starbucks every other day, blind boxes, etc., but isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, and has struggled to find work since graduating. Knowing their situation, I told them about my wedding a year in advance, so they could plan or save for the trip. The venue is a 40-minute flight away, though train/car is viable. They said they'd see if they could come. 2 months before the day, I asked again. They said they still couldn't afford it. Since most of my friend group was coming, I offered to cover transport and accommodation. They seemed excited and said they'd update me on necessities. A week before the wedding, they texted me saying they couldn't make it, saying the wedding being on a Sunday and worry about being too tired for work Monday. I asked, "Did you just get the job? Couldn't you get annual leave?" They said, "No, I've had this job a year, it's kinda boring and I don't get to do much." Now, here's where I might be the asshole. I get that her job barely covers day-to-day expenses and maybe they can't save much. My husband thinks they might be going through something they haven't told me, but I feel like calling them out since they've kept finding reasons not to come despite every solution I offered, and I'm really disappointed. Right now, I've left them on red and don't know how to react. Am I the asshole for expecting them to come to my wedding despite their situation? Too Long Didn't Read offered to cover my struggling friend's transport plus accommodation so they could attend my wedding after they said they couldn't afford it. A week before, they backed out, citing being tired for work the next day, feeling disappointed and unsure if I'm the asshole for expecting them to come. Edit. Thank you everyone for your comments. I understand I'm selfish for demanding them to come. I'll leave them alone and say that it's okay that they cannot come. I guess I was blinded by my sadness for not having one of my close friends come to the wedding. Thank you all for making me realize that. Edit 2. I get that one sentence I said about them was super uncalled for. The emotions got the better of me. I understand why I'm the asshole for that. I think why I feel so disappointed/mad is because I thought they considered me one of their close friends, and the same for me and them. The fact that they've said they will try to come and ended with, "I'll be too tired for work the day after," while I see them still going out to fancy dinners and showing off their insane game purchases on social media, made me feel like they just didn't bother coming. And that hurt real bad. I think I'll just keep my distance and leave them alone for now until I settle my feelings. Yeah, I will say that sharpest tool in the shed comment was pretty uncalled for, especially if this is one of your closest friends, as you're trying to talk about the fact of, why aren't they gonna go to my wedding? I mean, they're pretty stupid though, to be honest. I wonder why they may not want to come to your wedding. Also, I do find it really interesting, the fact that there always seems to be some really convenient edits on posts sometimes, where like after they're deemed the asshole and get drugged through the mud, suddenly it's like, oh, here's some vital information that I forgot to mention, the fact that they're buying games and fancy dinners. I feel like if that was actually happening, you would have brought up the fact of, in the original post, yeah, I'm pretty hurt by the fact that I offered to pay for their flight because they couldn't pay for it, but I see them spending a lot of money on dinners and games and whatnot on social media. That kind of hurts and sucks. I don't know. I feel like that would have been something where if I was writing this post trying to like see and get opinions from people, that would be a detail I would 100% include. And it certainly wouldn't be something I would just add, not in edit 1, but edit 2. Especially after it follows like, I get it, me calling them not the sharpest tool in the shed wasn't a good idea, but they spend so much money on dinners and games but can't afford to go to my wedding. Now that I think about it, if that is actually the case and they are spending money on dinners and games and whatnot, maybe that's just where they're more happy with their money going towards and not to go to the wedding to someone who actively on the internet just called them not the sharpest tool in the shed. On top of that, you're also considering calling them out? Calling them out for what exactly? It's an invitation, not a requirement. Comment from user Judgy Random Webizin. Oh my god, my friend has had a horrible year between her parents' divorce, loss of security, etc. Oh yeah, and she's kind of dumb. Oh, and did I mention poor? Anyways, me. Yeah, I don't know if she had a job or anything, being the supportive friend I am, but I offered to pay for her to celebrate me and my fantastic life. But again, the poor had to work? Can she just not? Yeah, you're the asshole. And yes, probably me too, for being harsh. I like that comment, so I thought I would include it. Because it's not even just them being too harsh, it's a pretty quick summary of what the post comes across as. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for not telling my uncle's girlfriend that he plans to abandon her and their 2-year-old son? For context, my uncle arrived to the US 6 years ago, following an end to a toxic marriage with his then wife, and leaving their 4 children behind. According to him, he left his home country because he was unable to find work and was not able to provide for his children. His plan was to stay here in the US for only 5 years, work, save money, and then go back to his home country to be with his children. Well, these plans changed when he met his current partner here in the US. After approximately 3 months of dating, they moved in together, and shortly after, she became pregnant, and they had a son together, who is now 2. My uncle is the kind of person who likes to drink Friday to Sunday, and does not prioritize spending time with his partner or son. I know that this has put a strain on their relationship, and he's not the kind of person who you can sit down with and express your feelings to. Much less, he does not take advice from anyone. A couple weeks ago, he had been drinking and started off saying that he knows he's a bad person and never truly learned to love properly. He said that he's enjoyed being with his previous partners and his current one, but that he has never really loved any of them. He then changed the conversation, saying that he thinks that in 2 years he's planning on leaving back to his home country because he misses the 4 children from his previous marriage and needs to see them. He admitted that he is okay with abandoning his current partner and their son because, according to him, she can apply for government assistance, and they will both be just fine without him. If he leaves back to his home country, he will never be able to legally enter back into the US. When I brought this point up to him, he said he is aware and is fine with only seeing his son during summer when his son is able to go see him. I am beyond disappointed and angry that he is considering leaving his son and making his current partner a single mother, because if he leaves, he will not be here physically, emotionally, and much less financially for his son. His current partner is a sweetheart and everyone in our family loves her and their son. Myself and other family members were there when he said this to us. We were all at a loss of what we should do and don't know if he was only saying this because he was drunk. His current partner was not there when he was saying all of this. Am I the asshole for keeping this to myself and not warning her of what he's planning to do? Part of me is scared to tell her because what if he was just drunk talking? And another part of me is furious and upset. And if I was in her shoes, I would want someone to tell me so that I can make the choice of leaving or staying. Any thoughts and advice would be very helpful. Edit, before he met his current partner, he was already legally divorced from his ex-wife back in his home country. His current partner was aware of this, and she also knew about his 4 kids. Comments. The first one here is on the actual Am I the Devil post itself, by Fem Cassidy. I am beyond disappointed and angry, but not angry enough to give this woman a heads up so she can at least start preparing financially to support herself. Not angry enough to warn her before she had a baby with him that he already abandoned his family and all his children once, and would likely do it again. Even if he was only drunk talking, he did not come up with this idea from nowhere that night. Look at how much he'd already planned it out in his mind. And if he already did this once, what possible reason does OP have to think he won't follow through this time? The person who cross-posted the post, FunGuitar8252, comments further. Imagine knowing that someone is about to experience something horrible and not warning them. I'm lost for words. Comments collected by Sadly the Worst, a certified sub favorite, and a certified channel favorite too. Copied verbatim from OP's comments. Not the asshole. Does his wife back in his home country know what's going on? Because somebody needs to tell her too. OP responds, yes, because they're legally divorced, and just like here, he is legally responsible for child support that he sends to his children in his home country monthly. Does she know about the other family? If she does, she can't expect better treatment. If she doesn't, please tell her. OP responds, she does. Before they began their relationship, he was honest and informed her of his previous marriage and children. Next commenter. Sounds like he's here illegally. If they split, she can try and seek child support if she's here legally, but even if she gets support, nothing is in place to stop him from leaving. And with the legal issues, he's not going to try and come back once he's left because that support will still accrue over time and will be waiting for him. He's not going to come back. By all means, let her know, but I can't see a way for her to get in front of this if he's illegal. I saw a story about a guy that self-reported himself to INS to get deported after knocking 2 women up. FYI, legal status has nothing to do with someone being able to request child support. He's going back to the family he abandoned. Has he been sending them money, or did he spend it on the GF? Does the wife even want him back? I would warn the girlfriend and the ex-wife of his plan. You would be the asshole if you didn't. OP responds, he legally divorced his wife, and since he left his home country, he's been paying monthly child support to his children. He does not plan on going back to his ex-wife because their marriage ended due to extreme toxicity. Commenter. You want to protect him over a mother and child whose lives are about to change forever? You're the asshole if you don't speak up. OP responds, I do not want to protect him. This came as a shock to me and our family. I am completely disappointed and angry that he is willing to abandon them. My family and I are going to sit down and talk with him when he is not drunk. We will get to the bottom of this, and if I have to tell her, I will. I understand the severity of this. What do you mean if I have to tell her? What, you think you'll convince him? You can't, and anyway, he has other kids, so he's an asshole, no matter what. Just tell her. Sometimes we need to do hard things. OP responds, honestly, why do I have to do the hard thing, which is to tell her? I'm obviously reading everyone's comments and I understand that she needs to know. How easy to just tell her for him. We're giving him an ultimatum and making him man up and come clean to her. If not, I will 100% tell her. Next commenter. Everyone sucks here. I'm still confused as to why no one told the new girlfriend that your uncle was married with 4 children, that he was not supporting upon meeting her. It may have saved her having a baby with a deadbeat dad. OP responds, before he met his current partner, he was already legally divorced from his ex-wife. He did not abandon his children by leaving his home country, but he was put on child support and was sending money monthly. His current partner knew all of this from the start. I think the comments do help, but goddamn buddy, you better actually tell her if he's not going to, because she does deserve to know. Because that would suck if you knew this was going to happen and she just woke up one day with no support system and now had to raise her child on her own and would have to just frantically try to navigate and figure out how to approach what she's going to be doing next. And then, imagine finding out after you're now going through what could be the most stressful year of your life that everyone around you knew that this would just be dropped on your shoulders out of nowhere. I would never be able to forgive my family if they did something like that to me. That just sucks. Hopefully OP also gets past the whole, why does it have to be me that has to tell her? Well, you're the one who came to the internet saying that you're aware of this situation, so someone's gotta tell her, so why not you? Cross-posted from r/drew off my chest. My ex-girlfriend got revenge on me and I'm so broken. I, male 25, have been with my ex-girlfriend Carly, female 23, for nearly 10 years. We were high school sweethearts. Isn't 13 middle school? And we had a good relationship up until she completed college. Adulthood has been putting strain on our relationship, so bills and finding sustaining jobs has been a challenge. We started arguing a bunch and just started overall being annoyed with each other's existence. We weren't sleeping in the same room, let alone being intimate. It was a tough time, to say the least. We tried therapy, and I felt like it wasn't working. I honestly wanted to be done, but I couldn't break up with her because we lived together, and she helped me get out of debt. So I did something horrible, and I started cheating on her with her childhood best friend. I thought she would never find out, and my gosh, I was wrong. Yesterday afternoon, I came home and she wanted to talk, and without hesitation, she jumped straight into it and asked me point blank if I was cheating on her, and of course I tried to lie, and she just starts laughing and says, "I knew you weren't going to admit it, but I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So now I feel less guilty." I just confessed to her, and she looked at me and didn't have any expression nor speak. When I finished, she just laughed and told me, and I would never forget it, "Honestly, it's fine because Louis was over last weekend and we had a great time." My heart dropped to my stomach because Louis is my big brother. I just thought it was a low blow on Carly given she knew how insecure I was about my brother. He's the golden child and literally always did things 10 times better than me. I'm stuck having to have some sort of relationship with him, and meanwhile, she can just drop her friend. My chest and heart has been hurting so much since I found out, and I'm so broken. I know I was wrong for cheating first, but if she knew, why didn't she just break up with me first? I called out of work because I feel like throwing up just thinking about it. Edit, I did not intend for this to be a viral post, I'm just extremely hurt, and I get I fucked up. Also, yes, I know she did because she offered video proof, and my brother has been dodging my calls. I'm going actually insane right now, and all you people here are just obsessed with kicking me while I'm down, and it's fucked up. Like, I get, LOL, so funny, she won, good for her. Also, with the debt she helped me paid off, she did it from her inheritance, I didn't ask her. If she asked for the money back, I will be willing to set up some payment arrangement with her. So you were 15 in high school, she was 13 in middle school, you guys started a relationship, were together for 10 years. And then the strain of adulthood hit, and what did you do exactly? Because the relationship was going rocky and you two weren't able to properly communicate like adults and end things between each other amicably, instead, you slept with her childhood best friend, and excused it because I didn't think she'd find out. You didn't think her childhood best friend might gossip about that? Or something along those lines? Like, you hurt her and she delivered the same pain in ample supply. She, definitely went for your weak spot, that's for damn sure, and was extremely brutal about it, and made sure you would be very aware of it. And it definitely was an asshole thing for her to do, but you also swung first, dude. Like, your thought process is, well, it was just her childhood best friend, she can cut her off. I can't cut my brother off. Honestly, though, both the friend and brother suck in this scenario without a doubt because they were both willing to essentially sleep with someone important to them's significant other and, had no regrets about it. Although, assuming, though, Carly definitely got told by her friend, while Louis, didn't tell his brother. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for telling a mother swimming right near us with her daughters we want privacy? My wife and I have a secluded river spot we like to swim at, the Machieto Banks in New Hampshire. Hopefully I pronounced that properly. Giving the name of it for reference so that people can visualize the story better. Getting to the spot requires sliding down steep sandbanks and climbing back out. It is not an easy spot to get to, but worth it, cause there's a small flat landing on the bottom. Kayakers and boats regularly go down that river and usually dock at the flatter beach across from us, which can't be accessed by vehicle or foot. We were there the other day and a family rolled right up to us on kayaks. A father, mother, and 2 teen daughters. The mother asked if they can dock real quick. I assume they just had to take care of something real quick before paddling back on their journey, but they seemed to basically be settling in next to us. Swimming in the water, right next to us. Mother trying to make small talk with us, daughters playing in the clay deposit that is near our spot, covering themselves with clay and then jumping into the water. The father, however, had no part in it. He paddled across the river and waited for them on the flatter beach. He said he was gonna go wait in the shade, but I think he felt the awkwardness of the interaction. Eventually, my wife pulled the band-aid, waited until her daughters were out of earshot and said, we were kinda hoping to have a private beach moment. And she got super defensive. Well, it's a public beach. Which is true, yes, but I also feel like public use recreation areas operate an unspoken rule of first come, first served etiquette. Like, you wouldn't go sit at a picnic table in a park with a couple or a family who's using it. The part that really frustrates us was that they had way more mobility with their kayaks and had tons of options of places to dock, including the flat beach across the river that Dad was waiting at. And instead, they docked right next to the small piece of flat land that we had climbed down to. I feel guilty because that clay deposit must be somewhere her daughters like to go all the time. It must be a regular stop on their kayak route. However, I also feel like Mom could have taught her daughters an important lesson in flexibility and respecting others' space by saying, "Not today, somebody else is there." That is where I'm conflicted. She is right, it is public land, and that is where I'm conflicted. But it felt like we were intruded upon. She eventually paddled away and sarcastically yelled, "Enjoy your private beach!" Maybe you should learn to be flexible when other people are going to use a public beach. Because unlike a picnic bench, which is a very private and intimate area, where you're going to be looking across from or sitting next to people, a public beach is a pretty large plot of land that you don't have ownership of. Comment! Turtles are gorgeous comments. Info, how large was this piece of beach? If it's not much larger than a single family area, then yeah, I'd also treat it like a bench and not an encroach on another family. If it's large enough for another family to set up and hang out without being on top of you, let's say 5 feet away, then you're a selfish ass. User Fickle Message 9995, which is the original poster, comments, "This is the part people are missing that are making them say that I'm the asshole. I tried to describe in my post, but I'll give more details since you asked and actually care to know. This is about 80 square feet of flat land. These are steep sandbanks, and the layout is different every year due to erosion. This was the only flat spot next to nothing but incline. Definitely more in the single-family area category than in the shared-use beach one. Directly across from us is a flatter beach, which we couldn't really swim over to, and there is nowhere a vehicle can park to go to it because it's behind a cornfield. But a kayak can paddle over to it. The father was on the other side of the river, waiting for them. If you Google Macchietto, or whatever it is, Banks, New Hampshire, you can see a bird's-eye view of the whole area. Yeah, I did, and I'm seeing several large beaches and banks that could definitely host several people on them. User Spaghetti Scully comments, "No, people aren't missing this. You've explained it enough times. The simple fact is that you don't own public land. To be honest, they could have not asked you and pulled up and docked if they wanted to without bothering to ask you. They would have been perfectly within their right to do so. However, they asked, you agreed, you made your own assumptions. What you essentially did equates to buying a kid a candy and then yanking it away from them the moment they opened it. Then you even ate it in front of them with a smirk on your face. Honestly, it sounds like this is a place they like to stop regularly when they are kayaking, and it's public. So, not your private beach, and not your land. You're the asshole, and entitled as hell." Okay, so this one's weird. Because if it is an 8 by 10 foot area that OP set up camp on and they just joy in that, that's essentially like having a bunch of people the size of a child's bedroom just crowding around. And yeah, that could get cramped pretty quickly. And it'd be like hey, that's kinda weird for you just to set up right next to my beach towels. Especially when there's plenty of room way on the other side there, where your husband is. Like, I can understand that. But OP's attitude does make it seem as though they believe they own that patch of sand and therefore are entitled to have that for their little picnic or vacation. Because, yeah, as that commenter pointed out, they 100% could have just showed up and set up, but they asked OP if they could set up, and OP said yes. Also, when I go and I look at like the satellite view of this like trail park, I can't find a single area that looks like it would be a small 8 by 10 foot bank. That's also across from a cornfield that they would have camped on. So it's gotta be off the trail by quite a bit. But if you're also on a public trail in a public piece of land, privacy is a luxury. It's not a guarantee. Although, please definitely share what you guys think on this one though. Interesting. It seems that we've encountered the outro. Don't forget, Gamer Subs, use code AYZ at checkout, get 10% off of all your purchases, and also it supports the channel directly. It's a win-win. You get some caffeine or caffeine-free flavored water, essentially, and like sleep aid stuff, and comfy shirts, and comfy sweatpants, and just a bunch of cool stuff. And it just directly supports the channel when you make a purchase using the code. Ain't that super nifty? Oh, by the way, the Ruby flavor's back in stock for those of you who are waiting for that, just as a heads up. Now, additionally, as for the usual kind of like ending like conversational rant thingamabob, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to painting, apparently. It took way too much effort to figure out how to get the lines not visible with the roller, because that was just something that I was dealing with for way too long, was the fact that it would put lines down. I went through like multiple different attempts of like trying to figure out how to put paint down, and So I got this little thing where you hook it up to like the paint can and it pumps it right into the roller, so that way like it fills the roller with paint so you can like paint without having to constantly re-roll and re-wet the paint. Only problem is that one, it kind of leaves behind thick lines on the sides of it, you know, when you're rolling it, and two, the roller they gave you is cheap as hell and it leaves behind so much little lint and whatnot. So once I finished painting it and saw not only the lines but also the lint, I spent like 3 hours with a scraper, just slowly flattening the walls, taking the lint off, and doing that. And then I just ended up going back to like the paint store and getting a new like big roller, better, higher quality rolls, and just did it by hand without a fancy paint pump. And this would be coat number 4, but it's flat and perfect. Almost perfect. It's like 95% perfect according to my standards, but it looks good. I'll get photos for it next time because I'm now working on the ceiling finally. So it's almost done, and oh, thank God. But yeah, that's why I haven't mentioned it in a while, because I've essentially been struggling with grappling with my own perfectionism and trying to get it so that way it looks up to standards that I feel are professional. And this is only the second time I've ever really done any major painting in my life. Third time, actually. So yeah, no, that's been great. Pictures tomorrow if I can get the ceiling done.